Without a doubt, one of the biggest shows to come from the last few years, or reboots and revivals and such, was Cobra Kai. This was a show meant to be a sequel series to the Karate Kid saga, and though it started out as a cult classic on YouTube Red, it was eventually sold to Netflix, and within weeks became a major hit. Season 3 debuted at the beginning of the year, and it kicked everything into high gear in the best way possible. But while things are great in front of the camera, they're also pretty sweet behind it. Allow us to show you 8 behind-the-scenes facts about Cobra Kai. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Johnny coming back almost didn't happen. William Zabka returning to the series was a major deal because he got to be Johnny Lawrence again, the original rival to Daniel LaRusso and the former ace student of the original Cobra Kai. Fast forward to now, and you can't imagine Cobra Kai without Johnny. It just wouldn't work. Zabka noted that he based his performance on Johnny's first line in the script for the original film, "I'm an ex-degenerate. I have 1 year to make it work." And his last, "You're all right, LaRusso. Good match." Believe it or not, those words were the ones that gave the 3 producers the idea for Cobra Kai, because we got to see the potential of a more dimensional Johnny Lawrence, but for various reasons that never got to be. Of course, that wasn't as easy to sell for Zabka for various reasons, not the least of which was the last time we saw Lawrence, he was getting choked out by his sensei John Kreese for coming in second during the tournament. It was a little painful in a way, he told the crowd during a panel at the Tribeca Film Festivals. It's Pandora's box for him. It's a snake that bit him, you know? The writers and producers eventually brought him around and got him fully on board. Johnny is very much a great character now, full of depth and passion thanks to how the writers let Zabka do his thing. He's a highlight of every season and a guy you want to root for, even when he screws up, which is a lot. Number 7. Miguels Training. Solomera Dueña plays Miguel Diaz, Johnny's first student at Cobra Kai and the focal point of many storylines, including Johnny fueling his desire to do good through Miguel to ensure he ends up on a good path. While Miguel started out as a bit weak physically, Johnny whips him into shape in the show to make him a karate champion. But it wasn't easy. He told Glitter Mag Rocks, "My training was a daily 2 to 4 hour regiment of working with professional stunts, martial arts, boxing, strength and yoga instructor teams to get me into amazing shape." He went on to say, "It is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It wasn't just learning about martial arts. It was the entire task of learning martial arts and then using it in a way that could be choreographed and filmed." His fights have been some of the highlights of the show's 3 seasons, and we look forward to seeing him kick butt in Season 4 when it arrives. Number 6. The Karate Kid returns before Cobra Kai? When Cobra Kai was conceived by producers Josh Held, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg, Ralph Macchio thought it was the right time to say yes to a Karate Kid revival after nearly 3 decades of turning one down. Listen, I've heard many pitches over 30+ years of why we want to revisit this world, and it never seemed fresh. Macchio told Uproxx in 2020, "It was always easier to say no and protect the legacy, because I'm very protective of it, and it was never smart enough." In a separate interview with Collider, Macchio said that many of the pitches involving LaRusso having a child who would prompt him to mirror the influence Mr. Miyagi, the late Pat Morita, had on a LaRusso in the original films, but had no substance beyond that. Seeing the universe through the eyes of Johnny Lawrence convinced Macchio the idea had merit. And indeed, Cobra Kai has given a new look at Daniel LaRusso and his world, and things got built up high and then crashed down as Season 3 showed. Number 5. The date scenes. Further showing the love of the original movie and bringing that to Cobra Kai, the first date scene between Miguel and Samantha not only happens in a golf and stuff that was part of the same place that Daniel and Allie had their first date, but the whole scene in general was basically a recreation of that first date. Producer John Hurwitz explains, "Since we mostly shoot in Atlanta, we had to get creative. To start, we used VFX to comp the spinning golf and stuff sign from the original film into our exterior footage from our Fun Zone location in Atlanta. They have mini golf at Fun Zone, so we filmed some Sam and Miguel mini golf bits, like Daniel and Allie had in the movie. But our production designer, Ryan Berg, really stepped up his game by getting the same Super Chex hockey arcade game that they used in the movie, as well as an 80s era photo booth for our young couple to take photos in. That's commitment right there, wouldn't you say?" Number 4. Hawk's Hawk. A major shock for fans of Season 1 of Cobra Kai was that Eli transformed himself into Hawk, a BA warrior who took lip from no one and was always willing to get brutal. The trademark look of Hawk, though, was the Mohawk he got. Apparently, it takes an hour every day before filming to get it to look that way. That's no doubt not just because of the shape, but the coloring that has to be done to make it look good for camera. Number 3. Original items. If you look closely enough, you're going to see a lot of original items from the original Karate Kid films, including big items you wouldn't expect the origin of. In the original The Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi gifts LaRusso with one of his classic cars, a 1947 Ford Super Deluxe. The car makes a reappearance on the show, but it's not a double. The car was a gift from Columbia Pictures that was given to Macchio following 1989's The Karate Kid Part 3. He kept it and eventually suggested the car be included in the series. I said, if we're going to do the show, I want the car to be in it. He told IndieWire in 2019. We got to dust it off. It's been still for about 2 decades, and then put a new engine in it and get it all cleaned up and looking like new. I love having it in there. That also goes for the headbands of both Johnny and Daniel, which were also from the original movie, as well as some other props from the films that came into play. Number 2. The Kick. The opening of Cobra Kai focuses on the legendary fight between Daniel and Johnny, but you might notice footage that wasn't in the original Karate Kid film. There was a good reason for that, as exec producer John Hurwitz explains. One of the very first things we did when we sold Cobra Kai was ask Sony if they had access to unused footage shot for the original movies. They said they did, but the negatives were buried in salt mines far away, and they had no idea what kind of condition they'd be in. Fast forward a few months later, and it was like Christmas morning when we suddenly got an email with all sorts of unused goodies. This was especially helpful for us when putting together the very first scene of the show. We wanted to open with the iconic final fight from the original film, but show it more from Johnny's perspective to help get the audience on board for his journey. Incorporating unused camera angles of Johnny, and especially a close-up of him getting kicked in the face by Daniel's famous crane kick, really helps us achieve our vision. This new take on the crane kick allows the focus to be more about Johnny than Daniel, and helped set up the series as a whole. Number 1. The showrunners love the Karate Kid Saga. Okay, we felt it fun to end with one you likely did know about. One of the biggest reasons for Cobra Kai coming to life at all was because of the showrunners, who are the biggest Karate Kid fans/nerds on the planet. If you don't believe us, if you go back and look through Cobra Kai Season 1 through 3, you'll find all sorts of references to not just the Karate Kid movies, or at least the true 4 movies. You'll also find references to the animated Karate Kid series and beyond. They went to painstaking lengths to try and make this the most authentic experience for fans who loved the originals and wanted to see what the next generation would bring. This wasn't just a show to them, this was a calling. And, as fans would happily say, they lived up to their own hype. Going to show what happens when you put some faith and passion into the projects you make. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the behind-the-scenes facts about Cobra Kai you likely didn't know about? Which of them surprised you the most? Which ones do you feel adds more depth to Cobra Kai now that you know them? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.